I feel like I should have bought a conductor hat for this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to my cozy little corner of the internet. Today we are taking a journey across the continent, laying down tracks and connecting cities in one of the most popular games, Ticket to Ride. If you've ever dreamt of building a railway empire, this is the game for you. I would say the game is relatively easy to learn, but it does have some real depth which makes it really fun to play. In this video we're going to cover everything that you need to know, from a how-to guide all the way to some tips that I think will help you become a master conductor. First things first, how do you play? Well, let's see what's in the box. First we have this gorgeous game board. Mine picks Europe, but yours might include North America, or there's a Japanese version. There's lots of spin-offs now. Then there are these colourful train cars. Each player will get their own set. We have a deck of train cards in various colours, a deck of destination tickets depicting routes. We have little stations for each player, and we have scoring markers for each player, which make their way around the board to help with points. To set up, each player chooses a colour, and then they take 45 train pieces, a matching scoring marker, and 3 matching stations. Place your scoring marker on the outside on number 1. Every time a player gains points, they will advance the scoring marker accordingly. Next, shuffle your train cards and make sure each player gets 4 of them face down. Then, flip 5 train cards face up next to the draw pile. This will be your public display. Next are the destination tickets. These are your secret goals. The 6 long routes have a blue background. Each player should have 1. Then they should have 2 of the shorter routes. Players must look at their tickets and decide to keep at least 2 routes. Put any remaining back in the box and don't let anyone see them. At the end of the game, any routes that you don't complete are taken from your score, so even though the longer routes might be worth more points, it might be best to give them a miss in case you don't complete them. Now you're ready to start. The person who has visited the most countries in Europe begins play, and then it continues clockwise. On your turn, you can do one of 4 things. The first is drawing a train card. This is how you get the fuel for your railway empire. You can draw 2 cards. You can take them blindly from the draw pile, or you can take them from the 5 face-up cards. If you do take a face-up card, immediately replace it from the draw pile. If you draw a locomotive card, these are wild cards and they can be any colour. If it's face up, it counts as both of your draws, but if it's from the draw pile, it only counts as 1. The second thing you can do is claim a route, which is when you get to put your trains on the board. To claim a route between 2 cities, you must play the correct number and colour of train cards from your hand, matching the spaces on the board. For example, to claim this route of 3 orange, I would have to play 3 orange cards, or replace one or all of them with locomotive cards, which would act, in this case, as orange cards. Once you've placed your trains, you immediately count up how many points you get. This card is very helpful. On this turn, it shows that 3 trains equals 4 points, so you move your counter 4 spaces. As you can see, longer routes get you more points. The third thing you can do is draw another destination card. I wouldn't do this early in the game, but if you've already completed all your other routes, then it's worth drawing another. Just remember that your points are subtracted at the end if you don't complete it, so it's a risk. The last thing you can do is build a train station. A player may build a train station in any city that does not already have one. This is helpful when someone has already passed through a city. You can place a station so that you can also use one of its routes. To build a first train station, a player must play 1 train card of any colour and place a station on that city. To build a second, a player must play a set of 2 cards of the same colour, a third station, 3 cards. Another thing that you'll come across are double routes, which have 2 different routes going between the same 2 cities. One player can never claim both routes between the same cities during the course of a game. Beware, some routes look parallel, but actually go to different cities. These are not double routes. You may have noticed the ferry routes in grey, which have locomotives on at least one of the pieces. To claim a ferry route, a player must play a locomotive card for each of the locomotive symbols. They must also play the usual set of cards of the proper colour for the remaining spaces of the ferry route. The thing that I find hardest to grasp in this game are the tunnel routes, like this one here. They have tunnel marks and outlines to help you identify which routes these are. What makes tunnels special is that a player can never be sure how long the route is that they're trying to claim. For example, if you wanted this tunnel of 4, you would first have to lay down 4 cards of the same colour. Then, the top 3 cards of the draw pile are shown. In this case, 2 reds and a white. The player will then have to match these cards from their own hand, as well as these, to claim the tunnel. Remember, locomotives are wild cards and can also be played. However, if the player can't match them, they may take all of their cards back and the turn ends. At the end of the turn, the 3 cards from the draw pile are discarded. Remember that if one of the cards drawn from the draw pile is a locomotive, you have to match it with another locomotive. It's why it's easier to attempt tunnels when you have lots of them saved up. The game ends when any player gets down to 2 trains or less. When that happens, every player including that one will get one final turn, and then the scores are calculated. It's calculated from 4 things, the first being the score marked by your score marker around the edge of the board. The points from completed destination routes. Remember that if there's one you didn't complete, it gets subtracted. You get 4 points for any unused stations. And if you have the longest continuous route on the board, you get a bonus 10 points as the European Express bonus. And that is how you play Ticket to Ride. I know it does seem like a lot of rules, but I think it's quite an intuitive game. Once you start playing, it's very easy to follow on from each other. And I played it with my mum, who finds it very hard to pick up new rules. Something we have done in the past is basically omit the tunnel rule to make it easier, so we treat tunnels as ferries. So that's one adaptation that can make it a little easier for new players if they don't really understand that rule. I think the biggest pro with this game is replayability. No 2 games are ever the same, you're always learning new techniques, and because of the luck element, the different destination cards, the draw pile, it always feels like a different game. However, I think the cons are that luck is a big element in the game, especially with the draw pile and with the tunnels, and also blocking. It's really frustrating that you can block each other and each other's routes, especially when you work out what they're trying to do. Now, I've played this game quite a few times, so here are some tips that I think can help you if you're trying to win your first game. First, I would say prioritize long routes early on. So the routes that have 4, 5, 6 cars, they get you a lot of points very quickly, and it also means that it's harder for your other players to build longer routes. My second tip is to really try not to use the train stations. One, because at the end, if you don't use them, you get 4 extra points for each one, but also because every time you want to place one, it wastes a turn and it wastes at least a card. And my final tip, if you're playing with the tunnels, is to really prepare beforehand. Stack up a load of those locomotives. If you notice other people stacking them up, they're probably going for a tunnel. And if you are going to, I would focus on the 21-point tunnel because it's the biggest risk that is going to pay off for the most points. I hope this video helps you guys learn the game. It's a really fun one. My family like it, my friends like it. There's lots of different expansion packs, and it's really quite immersive. Feel free to share your own tips and tricks for this game in the comments, and let me know if there's another game that you would like me to show you the setup for and review. Thanks for watching!